I don't know what that is on the end of the turbo. I've never seen that before. Don't know what that is. That looks like an oil line. Ooh, look how shiny it is.
Very shiny.
So in my fluffing around, another receipt for $1 million spent. Should get a Bunnings sponsorship for this thing. Anyway, so did a little bit of research on our engine. No, not. So, not a D12, not a D12A, actually neither. It's the model before by the look of it. And it's a, it'll come to me, TD 123 ES, I'm hoping. Well, that's what it looks like from the photos anyway. The TD 122. I think the turbo is smaller, is set further back on the engine, although I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. It would make sense if it's the ES. Anyway, well, I'm hoping that's what it is. So they range from 385 to 400 horse. Sort of around that 2,000 Newton metre mark. WA probably. And the giveaway was actually the rocker covers, or valve covers, or rocker covers. It's got individual rocker covers on it, whereas the D series, they came out with a single cover over the head. I'm sure there's numerous other differences that would give it away. And I picked it up. I just picked up a casting number off the block and just punched that into Google, and that's what it came back as. So I found a manual, I had a look over it. I couldn't sort of find anything on it, like numbers wise, other than the casting number on the block, and that was the block that it said. So the TD 122 is only 275 horse or something, so it's definitely not that. It gets along a bit better than that. So yeah, then we pulled it out and we gave it a bit of a scrub, so she's come up all right. Looks rather clean in there now. And then we'll start chasing whatever oil leaks. It looked like it hadn't been washed in there for millennia. So anyway, all clean. I like clean. Clean is good. Clean, we can pick up stuff. Yeah, so that's where that is. And that means I can obviously start to chase sensors and bits and pieces. I'm going to see if I can work out how to adjust the speed limiter on it. Because 96 is a bit of a pain in the bum. 103 would be nice. Or turn it off altogether. That could be fun. Anyway, research. Yes. The gauge on the dash looks like it's for boost pressure or manifold pressure or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's showing like it's, it's got all the boost, all of it, every single bit of it. Nobody's got any more boost than what this thing's got. So what I'm telling you is that it's got too much boost. Well, no, it's probably got the right amount of boost, but it's measuring that it's got shitloads of boost. So I'm just doing a bit of poking around. It's not ideal, is it? I don't even know what this is. This is not how it should be, but anyway. So just doing a little bit of digging around on the interwebs. and it looks like they use the same sensor. Sorry. I think there's an oil pressure sensor as well, but they use the same sensor to sense the boost pressure in the manifold. Which, hey, you know, the problem is, bloody sensor's like $400. That's gonna make the boss happy. But anyway, my hunch is that that's playing up, or it's stuffed or something. And anyway, it was blowing huge clouds of black smoke, especially on takeoff. And I thought, oh, you know, if you're European, you know, generally pretty good. And that got me sort of thinking that, because the gauge works, Rob, who I bought the coach off at R&R Bus Services, or whatever he calls himself, it's different. He presumed it was the gauge, or thought it was the gauge anyway. So the thing is, when you turn the ignition on, the gauge goes to full noise, which tells me that the gauge is working fine, that the sensor is probably grounding out. That's my guess.
And 50 years later?
Hey, we're back 2 weeks later. Look what turned up. All $647 of it. Thank you very much, Volvo. I love you. Anyway, thanks goes to the boys at Multi-Spares, actually, in Dandenong. Quick and easy. The guys were easy to deal with. Didn't have any aftermarket parts. Went direct. Ordered. Arrived in 2 weeks. Rang me as soon as it was there. Yeah, guys are really good. They obviously specialise in all truck parts, truck and bus parts, and, you know, particularly European. So yeah, not sponsored again, but as I said, I'll recommend services and bits and pieces that that I would use and that are obviously useful for me. So that's them, Multi-Spares. Anyway, so we've done a little test just to make sure. If you can see in there, I would see that tiny little hole in there. I have a sneaky suspicion probably the old one's blocked, but we've just changed it over anyway. We used a little air gun and we just tiny bit of pressure. The gauge that's on the dash, it doesn't actually give you a PSI reading. It just has bands. I'll hopefully put a picture down below and show you what that gauge looks like, but it just gives you a green and then transitions to a yellow sort of band. That's all it is. It's a reference gauge. So I got one of the kids up there, put the air gun on that, turn the ignition on, just a small amount of pressure, got the okay that that gauge was moving, and that's what the problem is. So I'm just going to quickly fit this, and I reckon this will end this video. So anyway, let's quickly get to it. I'll fit this, and yeah. This is stuck, or kind of stuck. Feels like it's seized in there. I've just got to get that out. Bear with me. bit of language that would have made Prince Harry look like a straight A student. I got the fitting off. There it is. That's the barb. It's just sitting in there. I'm hoping it'll go back in. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on this fitting. Like I said, it's just a reference thing. Oh, do you know what I forgot to do? Put the bloody nut on. Hang on. I might name this channel 2-step. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm just going to get this back out again without destroying it. There it goes. Goes in that way. Yes. That goes back into there. Yes. That goes back into there. Now I've moved it forward. This line was quite tight. Guessing that screws on there. Like that. Okay. 5/8. Just firm. Doesn't need to be stupidly tight. Alright, that's back on. Righto, quick tidy up. Cut the cable ties there. I find too, if you don't cut them, you can cut them with a Stanley knife on the end, but if you twist them like that, you don't get the sharp edge. You won't have your arm up in there and, you know, doing something and you'll slice your hand off. That's, you know, you always get that nice big cut from a cable tie. Anyway, so that's solved an issue. We now can register what pressure's in the intake manifold, boost pressure. It's kind of handy to see. Why do you want to see that? Well, for one, tells you that your turbo is actually doing its job. 2, it sort of will let you know if there's any issues, particularly in all the intake piping. Yeah, that's pretty much what you want to see. But like I said before, it doesn't actually show how many pounds it's pumping in there. It just gives you an indication. So other than that, I've had a bit of a look around the motor, and now that it's had a bit of a wash, and yeah, it's just got some small bits and pieces that may need doing over time. Nothing urgent. One thing I do love about these Volvo engines, there are filters everywhere. I mean, this thing has, well, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5, that's 6, 7, 8, I reckon that's 8 filters, right? So I think 2 oil filters, 3 fuel filters. There's some filters down the side there. I don't know what they're for. Yeah, so there's a filter on everything. So more filters than I've ever seen. Anyway, that's going to end this one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. We'll see you in the next one.